after our 10 a.m. briefing, but the briefings are very important, ran over so that we can be as prepared as possible, not only for you, but ultimately providing information and coverage to the public. Well, thank you. As you can see, we are staying very focused and engaged in communicating as it relates to our not only public safety team, but all of our partners, including the New Orleans City Council, as we prepare for what we know is Tropical Storm Barry. The city of New Orleans is now under this tropical storm watch. There has been a shift eastward, and this means that there would be a possible Category 1 at landfall for the city of New Orleans. We could see impacts as early as Friday morning. New Orleans will be faced at the heart of the storm Saturday, is what we're being told. Heed every single warning coming from the city of New Orleans. We will keep you updated as things change, but it's very important to stay engaged and in tune. We do expect that this storm will be slow moving. What that means is that there is a possibility that as it's moving slow, that we're going to get heavy rainfall for up to 48 hours. It could be 48 hours potential rainfall, consistent rainfall over the city of New Orleans. We have to be prepared for all impacts. Again, prepare for heavy rain and the slow-moving rainfall. We're continuing to monitor the levels of the Mississippi River. Potential for storm surge in the river to push water levels forward. We did hear about a reduction of about 1 foot as relates to the river, but it still puts us at about 19 feet. The capacity there is 20 feet, but again, that could shift. You'll hear more from partners and agencies after me for more detail on this. If you have not made a plan, you need to plan. Plan to shelter in place. If not, absolutely, people can look to their existing conditions and make the decision whether or not they want to leave the city. We are not issuing a voluntary or mandatory evacuation, and this is based on the hour of this potential storm and also the CAT, which for the city of New Orleans, we look to a Category 3. These things are not in place for us at this time. Therefore, sheltering in place is our strategy. I want to strongly reiterate securing your property, especially trash cans. What we will do is eliminate the pickup, Friday pickup, Saturday pickup throughout the city of New Orleans. Therefore, do not put trash cans out. Please do not place trash cans curbside, but you can secure them within your property. Bring them in. Stay connected all the time with the city of New Orleans NOLA Ready, as well as NOLA.gov. You need to gather your supplies and again, secure your property in preparation to shelter in place. While it is uncertain what the impact will be, we will be affected and we need to be prepared, and we are prepared to respond. This doesn't just mean the city of New Orleans by itself. It means all of our residents as well. We need to be prepared. The pumps are working at optimal capacity. You'll hear more about that throughout this press conference. Again, we cannot pump our way out of the water levels and the waterfalls that are expected to hit the city of New Orleans. We need you to understand this and again, be prepared to shelter in place. At this time, I'm going to call on our National Weather Service, Mr. Benjamin Shute, who will come and give you an update as he has recently briefed me as mayor. So come on in.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. We have Tropical Storm Barry at our doorstep. It developed this morning, and so we are going to be keeping a close eye on it over the course of the next few days. What can the citizens of New Orleans expect, and the folks of Southeast Louisiana? Heavy rain is the number one threat. That is the one thing that I want to communicate most importantly here. This could be torrential rainfall, heavy rainfall in a quick burst. Places go from dry to having flooding in just a very short time. Very similar to what we saw yesterday with the tropical rainfall that affected the city. So with that coming in, we're talking about amounts anywhere 10 to 15, with locally higher amounts pushing 20 inches with rainfall over the course of Friday, Saturday, and maybe even lingering into Sunday. Again, rainfall and flooding is going to be the number one threat with this. Do not be overly concerned exactly what category this is, or whether it's a tropical storm or if it's a hurricane. Again, the number one threat is going to be water. It's going to be the flooding and the heavy rainfall. We have a high risk for extreme rainfall, and that is something that we don't issue very usually, especially 3 days out, and that's what we've done today. So again, I want to reiterate, the rainfall is the thing that for everyone to keep an eye on. Let's stay very vigilant as we go through this system over the next couple of days. There may be a little bit of uncertainty of where this track lies. The heaviest rainfall will stay on the eastern side of the storm, and right now the city of New Orleans and Southeast Louisiana is on the eastern side of the storm. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. Benjamin, thank you so much. I'm calling you Barry. Lord have mercy. Yeah. Get Barry on your mind now. Barry's on mine. So I'm going to call our Director of Emergency Preparedness and Homeland Security, Colin Arnold.
Morning. As you know, yesterday, City of New Orleans, through the mayor, declared a state of emergency that has been forwarded to the state of Louisiana. They are currently pursuing a presidential disaster declaration, so we are in line with them and will coordinate with them to ensure that that process goes through. The New Orleans Office of Homeland Security Emergency Preparedness, we're activated in the Emergency Operations Center upstairs. We have our liaisons all in place. We will be 24/7 coordinating and conducting incident management from that facility throughout this event. Representatives from our public safety, infrastructure, and human services agencies are all up there, and we will continue to monitor and coordinate. Additionally, as part of our responsibility, the Real-Time Crime Center has full staff. We have the ability to bring in extra staff if we need to. They are a 24/7 operation, and they are assisting us in monitoring the weather, underpasses, critical locations with the camera system. We can utilize that for flooding. We're asking residents to prepare for heavy rain and potential power outages. As the mayor mentioned, please work around your yards, on your streets, help with your neighbors and your friends, clean debris from gutters, downspouts, clean in front of your catch basin. If you're seeing a catch basin that's not working, please call 311. We're going to send somebody out there to clean the catch basin. Gather emergency supplies, have your plan ready to go for shelter in place. You need to have at least 72 hours of food, water, and medication for everyone in the house, including your pets. 72 hours, 3 days worth of food and water and medication. And the second thing is an informed public is a prepared public. Please heed our warnings, sign up for our alerts. All residents and visitors should stay connected and pay attention throughout the duration of this event. You can sign up for emergency alerts. We've decided to do something new today because we have a named storm. You can text Barry, B-A-R-R-Y, to 888-777. Barry to 888-777. Whether you're a resident, whether you're a visitor, whether you're passing through town, if you do that within this area, you will receive every alert that we send. And you can follow us on social media, as always, at NOLA Ready, and everything that I'm talking about, preparedness tips, everything that you can do as a resident to prepare for this event is at ready.nola.gov. Thanks.
Thank you, Colin. We'll have Colonel Everett, who is the Director of Homeland Security and Public Safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. We've worked very hard as an organization of city, state, and local agencies to plan and prepare for the challenges that the next 72 hours will bring us. The one thing that we do know is there will be situations that occur in the next 72 hours which we will need to adapt to and make changes because of the situation. These organizations have worked very hard and they understand their mission, and it's very simple, is protect lives, stabilize infrastructure, and provide security to all the citizens of this city. We will adapt and overcome those challenges because we've worked together, and we will continue to work together with our citizens in ensuring that we have a safe and secure city. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Colonel. Going to call on Superintendent Sean Ferguson, New Orleans Police Department.
Thank you, Mayor. New Orleans Police Department is ready and prepared. We train the year round for these various events. We have all our resources together, our boats, our generators, as well as our high water vehicles. We are prepared to respond as necessary. Today, just as you are doing, New Orleans Police Department personnel is also getting their family matters in order to make sure that they are in a position to better serve our community as we are about to approach on this event. Part of that preparation, we are doing also, we have upstaffed our department. We are moving to a 12-hour shift, all hands on deck, effective 7 a.m. tomorrow, canceling all off days and vacation days from this day forward. But while we are preparing for this event, we will maintain our routine patrols. We will continue to address those individuals who are committed to being involved in criminal activity. We're not going to just focus on just the hurricane or rescue and search. We're also going to be looking out for those individuals who seek this as an opportunity to victimize our citizens. So we will be doing that as well. We ask that you, the citizens, help us to help you. You should have enough water, food, medication to get you throughout this weekend, and perhaps even further if necessary. Make sure you check with your elderly family members, check with your elderly neighbors, make sure they are properly or adequately equipped with what is needed for them to make it through this event safely and healthily. Thankfully, we did not have to save anyone from rescue anyone from any stranded motorists or any stranded homes or flooded homes. So we hope that remains the same throughout this event. One area of concern still remains today as a result of yesterday is I-610 East at Franklin Avenue. It's currently closed because there's still some water down there at the bottom of that exit, and that will remain closed throughout this weekend. We will also close other various exits throughout this weekend as we see fit if there's some water buildup at the bottom of those exits. Please monitor the City of New Orleans social media feeds as well as the local media outlets for any updates on this. As we mentioned yesterday, we would like to remind our residents and visitors to shelter in place. Be safe, be smart. Heavy rain can cause streets to quickly become flooded and impassable. Unless it is unavoidable, please remain in your homes. Do not go out, do not drive in flooded streets, do not drive through standing water, and please do not drive on our levees. We will be monitoring for the flooded standing water drivers as well as the individuals who choose to drive on our levees. Be prepared. Monitor the news outlets and social media feeds in the city for the City of New Orleans for any further updates and developments. We are always here to help you and come to your aid. We will get to you as quickly and as safely as possible. But please understand that with standing water causes problems, and stalled vehicles cause problems for first responders as well. So please be smart, be safe. Again, help us to help you so that we all can safely make it throughout this situation. Thank you.
Thank you, Superintendent. New Orleans Fire Department, Chief Tim Cummings.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The New Orleans Fire Department is well prepared for these events. We've increased our staffing. We have our boats in service as well as our high water vehicles ready to respond. The men and women in New Orleans Fire Department train hard for these type of events, hoping they don't occur, but they are all well prepared for this response. We're calling, in light of today's events, we'll be calling in more staffing to respond to this storm. The New Orleans Fire Department would like all residents to also be prepared for this storm. So please take the precautions necessary to prepare now before the event and act responsibly during and after the storm. If you remember Hurricane Isaac in 2012, we didn't have flooding, but our greatest problem wound up being without power for an extended period. As we stated, we expect lots of rain for this event, but you don't know what the storm may bring you. So although the storm may not warrant an evacuation, we encourage residents to take this opportunity to prepare, should it become necessary for you to leave quickly or to hunker down in your home. Gather items for your emergency kit that you will need to stay if you must leave. All emergency items should be packed and ready to leave with you immediately. As covered by Director Arnold of NOSEP, you can find a list of what you need on the city's website to prepare for this event. In preparation, secure all loose items around your home that may become projectiles. Turn off any propane tanks that you may have secured to barbecue pits or other devices. Avoid using portable generators. However, if it becomes necessary to use a portable generator, it should be operated only outdoors and 10 feet away from any structure in a well-ventilated area away from doors, windows, and openings to prevent carbon monoxide poisoning from a generator's exhaust. Please remember that carbon monoxide is odorless, tasteless, invisible, poisonous gas. Generators get extremely hot during these events, and we have seen them ignite fires that have burned down people's homes. Never refuel a generator while it is running. Do not store gasoline or other flammable liquids in your home. And do not try to power your house with a portable generator yourself. This is extremely dangerous and will backfeed into the power grid and can electrocute utility workers, your neighbors, and firefighters who respond to an incident in your area where power is down. We encourage people to have battery-operated flashlights available and not to use candles or kerosene lamps due to the danger of fire. If forced to do so, keep them away from flammable items. Use metal candle holders that are sturdy and won't tip over easily and are large enough to collect the dripping wax. Do not leave candles or kerosene lamps burning unattended or within reach of children or pets, and extinguish these devices when you leave your home or going to bed. Finally, stay informed, as you've heard everyone say here. Listen and heed the warning from your city leaders, emergency preparedness, and public safety officials. Monitor the warnings, weather forecasts, and news reports regularly, and sign up for the city's NOLA alert system. Thank you, and please be safe.
Thank you, Chief. Dr. Emily Nichols, EMS.
Thank you very much, Mayor. New Orleans Emergency Medical Services remains vigilant, and we remain prepared to respond to Tropical Storm Barry. We have, as of this morning, additional ambulances on the street. We also have mobilized our high water vehicles, and we are working in collaboration with our public safety partners to ensure that we can get to your medical needs as soon as possible. As Superintendent Ferguson stated, our first responders are residents of this city also, and at some point it becomes unsafe for them to be on the streets. If the winds are too high or the flood waters are too high, there is a point when we cannot go out to every call until it is safe to do so. If you have an emergency medical complaint, please don't wait till the last minute. Call 911 early. Don't let it linger. Additionally, if you have a chronic medical need that you think is going to limit your ability to get out quickly during an emergency, please also use 311 to be a part of our special needs registry so that we can help you safely and quickly and effectively. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Dr. Jennifer Begno, Director of our Health Department.
Good morning. The Health Department's mission is to ensure that we are protecting the health and safety of our residents, particularly those with medical and mobility needs. As you've heard, everyone's being asked to shelter in place. Please make sure that you and your loved ones have all of your medications, have charged your electric scooters, have adequate oxygen supplies, and have attended any last-minute dialysis appointments or anything you might need in the case of a potential power outage. Power outages are possible with this storm, and so anyone with electrically dependent medical equipment or their family members should go online at specialneeds.nola.gov. That's specialneeds.nola.gov, or call 311 to enroll in the Special Needs Registry. Our call center is now open 24/7 and will remain open for the duration of the event to speak to family members and individuals. If you're out of town and you have a family member here that you think has needs that might need to be addressed, you can call as well, or you can go online and register your loved ones. We are prepared to assist those folks who have difficulty because of their medical needs in case of a power outage. In addition, we've been in contact with all of the local hospitals and healthcare facilities, as well as nursing homes, to ensure that they are prepared. At this time, all facilities are operating under normal conditions, and they assure us that they are ready for the storm as well. Thank you.
Now, Dr. Vecno, can you just touch on us knowing that certain dialysis clinics, they have shifted their openings, their times, so they're opening earlier?
Yes, we are in contact with all the dialysis centers. As we understand it, they are open today, and they plan to open earlier tomorrow. We are working on making sure we have a list of what times they'll be open and which ones will be open, and are working with our partners at RTA in terms of their paratransit vehicles to make sure those individuals are prioritized and can get their dialysis.
Thank you so much. Thank you. The sheriff's office, sheriff's present. Here you go. Bam! This is my sheriff.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everybody. The Orleans Parish Sheriff's Office has activated its hurricane preparedness plan. We will be closed administratively tomorrow. We do not anticipate any evacuation of the inmates. The public should be aware that we will have a limited visitation schedule. Criminal district court is closed, as well as civil district court and municipal and traffic court. We will continue with our essential personnel and be prepared to assist in any way with other law enforcement activities.
Thank you,
Mayor.
Sheriff.
Good morning, everyone. The Sewage and Water Board, taking advantage of today's dry weather to reassess, adjust, improve, and prepare for this weekend's event. I can tell you that, just like I said yesterday, we have 118 pumps that are available. In the interest of full disclosure and continue to refine how we share information with the public, 118 pumps out of 120 that are available. They're not all used at the same time. As a matter of fact, we have 21 of those that are called constant duty pumps. Those are dry weather pumps that are typically not used during a drainage operation. So for all intents and purposes, and to be relevant with our information, 99 drainage pumps become available for usage. And again, out of the most 99, a certain percentage are used by design for optimum operation. Just to be clear, and again, more relevant. And much like what happened yesterday, our mission shifts from attempting to keep the city dry to actually pumping our flooded streets in the fastest way possible. And I feel like we accomplished that yesterday, and I feel very confident that we're going to continue that optimum level of operation for the upcoming event. And based on the forecasted weather and the intensity of rain, we believe that you're going to have a repeat of what happened yesterday. And again, we're going to perform at highest level possible to drain the city as fast as we can. When it comes to power, again, it's not going to impact in any significant way, but we have lost availability of 2 of our EMDs. That amounts to about 5 megawatts of power available. So that reduces the number from 80 megawatts to 75. At any given point, our need, or peak need, never exceeds 50 megawatts. So we still have a significant cushion and redundancy in our power availability. But again, in the spirit of continue to be very frank and straightforward, and we want to make sure that you know what is going on behind the scenes of the Sewage and Water Board. We continue to monitor our canals, so the conditions of those canals change from day to day, especially during heavy events and high velocity flow at times, and impediment could be created on a moment's notice. So we're continuing to monitor those and remove those impediments the best we can. Our staffing level remains at high level. All our critical positions are staffed with redundancy, and this is very key for our operation, as you all know. I really have to finish my remark by saying that it is remarkable what the men and women of the Sewage and Water Board are able to do with what we have. We have antiquated and old equipment that, again, stand to serve the city. They are fragile, and the level of skill level that we have at the Sewage and Water Board in order to adapt, react, and manage any situation has been very remarkable to be able to do what we do for the city of New Orleans. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hassan. I'm gonna call on the Director of the Department of Public Works, Mr. Keith LaGrange.
Thank you, Mayor. Department of Public Works is fully staffed. We stand ready to respond to any complaints. We're operating business as usual today and tomorrow. As Mr. Arnold said, anybody who has a clogged catch basin, please call 311. We encourage residents to clean up anything they can in front of the inlets, any large debris that might be left over from yesterday. We're trying to get to everything we can. We will not get to every side street in the city. Also, we're getting complaints of people putting grass clippings into catch basins. I want to let residents know that grass clippings will solidify and your catch basin will not drain should we get another heavy rain event. So please be diligent, sweep them up, throw them in the garbage. Also, any vehicles that were towed, please contact 311. If you had an abandoned vehicle yesterday, you can contact 311 and we'll definitely let you know what lot the vehicle was placed in. You can get that vehicle free of charge. We're also stationing barricades, tied them down to poles, should we have to deploy them into side streets to keep people off of them. If these barricades are deployed, please stay out of the neighborhoods and vehicles. You will be pushing water into residents. The idea of those barricades is to protect people's personal property. So, thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Now, it is against the law to put any clippings in a drain, a catch basin. In addition to that, based on the aftermath that we experienced on yesterday, there are still homes and businesses that have not removed debris or clippings from the front of their property. It is the law that our residents and business owners are responsible for that up to 18 feet from the door. So please, be proactive. Do what it takes. Clean the drains. It all matters. And it all helps. So with that, I'm going to call on the U.S. Army Corps, who's here. Where's our representative? Brad? Come on up, Brad.
Thank you. The Corps of Engineers, our number one mission is the protection of life, limb, and property, and we are ready to execute that mission. The Mississippi River levees are extremely robust, and they are designed to hold back all of the water currently in the river. We are extremely confident in the integrity of the system. We have had boots on the ground since November when the flood fight started, and partnership with the levee districts, and we have inspected daily every inch of the levees and have responded to any issues so that they could be addressed before they could become a problem. As a result, the levees are in a good condition today. Our concern with regard to the surge forecast, currently at 19 feet. Right now, our data and modeling does not indicate any overtopping. Obviously, conditions can change, so the residents should stay vigilant and prepared should any changes occur. We are working with the levee districts currently to identify low areas that may need flood fighting. So in an abundance of caution, we placed HESCO baskets at our district headquarters, and we are also adding elevation to the Harvey Lock. We will continue to evaluate and model so that we would be ready in case there are any actions that need to change for any changing conditions. We are in a unique position having a river flood during a tropical weather event. And one thing to keep in mind is once this weather event does pass, we will continue to be in flood fight, but we are ready, and we are ready to execute our mission. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to call on Colonel Donnelly with the Louisiana National Guard.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. As you know, as I briefed yesterday, the governor has mobilized the Louisiana National Guard. Over the last 24 hours, we've begun staging key assets, that's equipment and people, along southeast Louisiana. In light of the recent forecasts, we decided to move a significant contingency force into New Orleans. So we're going to begin movement over the next 24 hours. We're going to be moving key assets and equipment, repositioning assets into the city to be able to be put in a position we can have a quick reaction force. We don't want to be restricted by movement. We're anticipating a lot of water and possibly road closures, so we want to make sure that we center ourselves here in New Orleans as a center of gravity and make sure that we're able to respond And also, we're gonna be moving equipment in that we can do follow-on after search and rescue is over, to be able to make sure that we can get key commodities into the communities in the necessary where we need that. So we'll be staging a lot of equipment and commodities here in New Orleans. So you'll see a lot of movement of National Guard personnel over the next 24 hours. That's all I have. Thank you.
No, thank you so much, and General Curtis has been great, and
Yes, ma'am.
just an asset to have you all in the city of New Orleans.
Yes, ma'am. We want to make sure you have all the resources you need. We stand shoulder to shoulder with all of the civilian authorities that we see behind us. We have some of the best soldiers and airmen in the Army and the Air Force, and I can tell you, we prepared for this. We've just done a disaster response exercise statewide, and a lot of our soldiers right now and airmen are continuing to drill this weekend, as well as a lot of them are doing annual training. So we'll be able to ramp up with manpower as we see fit and mission dictates. As you all know, this is an uncertain situation. Until we start seeing exactly what the movement's going to be on landfall, we'll know exactly where to shift all our resources to make the necessary adjustments so we can be effective in this, to be able to move all our soldiers and airmen in and be able to get people out of harm's way and make sure we protect the lives of citizens of New Orleans and Louisiana.
Thank you so much. Yes. We're going to hear from our partner, our Entergy partner, Sandra Diggs-Miller.
Thank you, Mayor. Madam Mayor, you've asked me to talk about some of the outages and where we are right now. And I will say that we talked about yesterday that we had over 10,000 outages in the city of New Orleans as a result of the storm events on yesterday. I will tell you, as of today, we're down to less than 400 residents who are without power, and our crews are working very hard today to restore them. And I will say they worked tirelessly throughout the night to make sure we had those numbers down. And I can assure the customers and citizens of New Orleans that we are able and ready to respond to the storm. We have crews in place, and we prepare to respond as soon as possible. I want to remind you all that our crews cannot work safely as long as the winds are above 30 miles per hour, or we have flooding in the streets. So when conditions allow us to do so, we will make sure that we are restoring power as quickly and as safely as possible. We want to urge all customers to stay informed and finalize their personal storm plans. Helpful storm plans and safety information, such as staying away from down power lines or areas of debris, is available at EnergyStormCenter.com. Customers are urged to stay away from down power lines and areas of debris. Energized power lines may not be visible among the rubble. Down power lines must be reported immediately by calling 1-800-ENERGY. Customers are reminded not to walk in flooded areas or standing water. Wet limbs can conduct electricity. Customers are also reminded to stay alert for natural gas leaks. If they smell natural gas or hear blowing or hissing noise, they should leave the area immediately and call 1-800-ENERGY from a nearby location. Should customers want to use a generator in the event of power outages, they are encouraged to have a licensed electrician to connect their homes. If you have not already done so, we're encouraging customers to download the free Entergy app at EnergyApp.com and sign up for text alerts by texting capital R, capital E, capital G to 368374. I'll repeat that. You can sign up by texting capital R, capital E, capital G to 368374. We encourage customers to take advantage of the tools and resources available so they can stay up to date and make more informed decisions for themselves and their families. Thank you.
No, thank you so much. I'm going to now call on Kevin Dolio with the Louis Armstrong International Airport.
Thank you, Mayor. Right now, all operations at the airport are normal. We know a lot of people have flights scheduled this weekend, so we strongly encourage passengers to keep in contact with the airlines directly for flight updates, including any delays or cancellations. Again, all operations are currently normal. The airport will stay open unless weather conditions become unsafe or infrastructure is damaged. It is up to the individual airline to decide when they will stop flights from our airport. And if that does start to occur, once all airlines have canceled flights, the TSA will stop security screenings. As a reminder, the airport is not a public shelter during storm events. If airlines shut down operations, the terminal will be evacuated. There will be no food or retail services open for the public, and any staff present will be focused on responding to the impacts of the weather. We're continuing to implement the airport's 2019 hurricane plan, which at this stage includes regular monitoring of terminal facilities in the airfield for issues, checking and cleaning inlets and catch basins, coordinating with airlines and other tenants, ensuring necessary staff is prepared to stay at the airport during the weather event to monitor the facilities and prepare for recovery efforts. The Airport Emergency Operations Center is on standby and ready for activation, and will continue to provide updates as the situation evolves.
Thank you, sir. I want to now call on New Orleans and Company. Christian, come on forward and give us a little update.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. We know that we have a large population of visitors in town for various conferences and special events throughout this week, through Sunday. And we want to allay their fears. We understand that many of them are unaccustomed to this type of weather event. I want to assure them that the people with whom I stand right now are expert and they're veterans and battle tested at responding to weather events like this. We recommend that they watch the local news, sign up for NOLA Ready for real-time updates and alerts, stay off the streets if there's a downpour, just exercise common sense, and they'll have a safe and lovely time here in New Orleans. If they have special needs, we encourage them to ask the host hotel for help. And to our members, we ask that you reach out to us if you have guests that have special needs, or if you have special needs. We'll be working with the Emergency Operations Center here at City Hall throughout the duration of this weather event. So the show goes on for our guests who are in town. We want them to feel safe and know that they are going to have a good time, and they can trust in the people that I'm standing with here today. Thank you, Mayor.
But heed all communications coming from the city of New Orleans, with the show or not. Okay. So, yeah, I know it's true. Okay, so I know that Captain Barron's did Captain Barron's make it? Louisiana State Police did not make it. They are actively in communication and on the ground, particularly right now in Baton Rouge with the governor. Their offices locally did receive flooding on yesterday. As a result of that, we have been able to position them and logistically at the real-time crime center. That's where they will be. That's where they are, and we're very grateful and thankful for their presence. I do want to call on Cynthia Sylvain-Lear, who is our Director of Sanitation, and I'm also going to bring Ann McDonald of Park and Parkways following Cynthia. Thank you so much.
Just want to remind all residents and businesses, it is so very important, as was said, that everyone take responsibility to help keep debris from going into storm drains. We have a great staff who works very hard, but there is no way that we could clean all the debris from heavy rain events. If persons have flooding in their home, we will have information on the NOLA Ready website in regards to how that debris should be put out. For minor events, we rely very heavily on our collection contractors, but the debris must be contained. People should use their garbage and recycling carts for garbage and recycling, and we will give them information in regards to other debris. Very important, I must repeat, please do not blow clippings, debris, limbs, put anything into the storm drain other than the water to keep us all from flooding. Please, please pay attention. We will not be doing garbage collections, specifically in Richards and in Metro's areas on Saturday. We understand that there are going to be some challenges. We will continue to give more detailed information in regards to that, but we don't want people putting carts on the curb, recycling or garbage carts that may tip over, and they will, in flooded waters. So the best thing would be to cancel those collections. Specifically in those areas, we will give additional information. We have a smaller area in the downtown, and due to the type of debris, We will give specific information as we continue to look at that issue. Very, very important. Everyone work with us in this process for and during the event and after the event. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. Ms. Ann McDonald, Park and Parkways.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon. Parks and Parkways crews have continued to respond to emergencies as a result of the events of yesterday. We have picked up all the debris that was generated from yesterday. Our crews continue to go to various parks and ride major corridors to clear debris. We're asking citizens, if you have a downed tree or a down branch, please call 311. Be very specific if you can. Is it a tree that's down? Is it a branch that's down? Because that impacts who we deploy. Please keep in mind, should we have major street flooding, that will limit our ability to respond. We work very closely with Entergy as it relates to down power lines. So we will not respond during major street flooding, and if there's a power line, we will need to coordinate with Entergy. We've been really proactive in the recent year, trying to remove as many hazardous trees as we could. So our emergencies have been reduced, but we never know what Mother Nature brings our way, and we are prepared. Be safe and be careful.
Thank you. Now, before I get to our council members, I did skip over, and it's so important that I not do that. I need to call Dr. Munster up for the RTA. Very, very important here, so please forgive me.
Thank you, Mayor. So as of today, all bus service is back to normal after the suspension yesterday. Streetcar service across the city has been replaced with buses. We've determined that it's best to keep the streetcars off the rails to allow for people to park on the neutral grounds as necessary in case of rising water. All of our ferry vessels have been secured and are moored to withstand the event. And we have a bus bridge that is currently running to cover for the ferry service at the Algiers Canal crossing. Paratransit service is running as normal today. Tomorrow, paratransit service will continue. However, it will be dedicated to medically necessary travel, and we are coordinating with the health department to make sure that we are getting people to these critical appointments. All of our essential employees are on standby, and the system will continue operating as long as it can safely do so. We will be in touch very closely with the city's EOC, and we'll be monitoring for street closures, and we'll communicate any line-by-line shutdowns as they occur. So please follow our social media, follow us on Go Mobile, and we will be moving our vehicles to high ground should the situation dictate.
Thank you so much, Dr. Munster. All right, I'll call on council members at this time in the order in which you choose. Councilwoman.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you for your leadership as well. I think so often the people of New Orleans, when they think tropical storm, they think, well, it's not going to be that big of a deal. But because the storm is projected to move pretty slowly, it could possibly bring significant rain and cause flooding similar to what we saw yesterday. So it is incredibly important to make preparations and to take this storm seriously. Para los que están aquí de Telemundo de Jambalaya News, es muy importante que la gente de Nueva Orleans está preparada. O sea que necesitas 3 días de comida, agua y medicina también, porque tal vez vamos a tener muchísima lluvia. O sea que por eso, por favor, prepárense y vamos a platicar mucho para todo el fin de semana. Gracias.
Thank you so much. Councilman Brissett.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Mayor, for your leadership. I am confident in saying that your government is prepared for this storm. My heart goes out to my constituents that was affected by the tornado activity yesterday. Do not underestimate, because this is a tropical storm. My memory goes back to pre-Katrina, when early July of that hurricane season, we had a tropical storm, and we were out of power for a couple of days. So don't underestimate just because it's a tropical storm. Be prepared, secure equipment around your house, fill medications, get your supplies, get food. I would also say, being a former member of the House and the Insurance Committee, take pictures of your property and locate duplicate your insurance papers. I encourage all residents to do that. Be safe, take care of each other, and check on the elderly. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilmember Wynn?
Thank you, Mayor. Well, first of all, you know, as a city, we have all sorts of celebration. But when it comes to an emergency or crisis, we as a citizen of New Orleans, we all work together. And I really appreciate the leadership that you have assembled here. But I also want to encourage our residents to work in partnership with our city leaders. First of all, a couple of things. We need to check up on our elderly, just as Councilmember said indicated, particularly our disabled individuals. Please check up on them, make sure that they're okay. Be prepared. Make sure that you have supplies, sufficient supplies that you can take care of your family for the next few days. And for the kids in New Orleans, you guys help your parents. Help your parents by being active, by helping them bringing the trash can in, making sure that they're not hanging or leaving anything loose outside. And most importantly, please tune in to the advisory alert. Kính thưa quý vị, trong vòng khoảng chừng 72 tiếng, bão nó sẽ tới, mưa gió nó sẽ tới, mà quý vị lên phải nhớ để sửa soạn thuốc men, check on những người mà kế bên nhà hàng xóm, cao niên của quý vị. Make sure là đồ của quý vị có đủ đồ, mì tôm, nước để uống trong nhà trong vòng 72 tiếng. Các em quý vị nên giúp ba má ở nhà để sưu soạn ở những cái đồ ngoài á, để như vậy nó không có vướng vào cái báo. Cảm ơn quý vị. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Councilmember Palmer? Okay, she has to leave. All right. So thank you all again for being here. Hopefully you are confident in our leadership here. We will actually, Councilmember said you were right on, encouraging our residents to take pictures. As we saw floodwaters on yesterday, many of our residents did see some flooding in their homes, particularly those structures that are at grade. But taking those pictures before will help you as you deal with setting claims post-storm. Also, make sure you have all of your documentation, your insurance papers, your policies readily available. This is necessary, not just for home, but also your vehicle as well. This is just important. Look out for one another. We cannot overstate it enough. But again, I love the fact that Councilmember Wynn, you're right on. With our young people being at home, camps are canceled all throughout the city. Kids are being, that energy is bottled up. Let's get to work. You know, help your neighbors, help your parents, help one another. But you are absolutely an asset at this time. So with that, Ms. LaTanya will take questions.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have Katie Rector with the Weather Channel.
Thank you. Christian, I'm hearing about from hospitality workers who are stressed out about trying to get to work in this heavy rainfall. And we know that RTA had to shut down yesterday, and I'm anticipating that'll happen again. So I'm wondering what hospitality employers are doing for their workers. And the other thing is the sheriff. I'm wondering about what you're doing to release. Are you releasing anybody with just misdemeanor charges, or what are you doing as far as getting your population down in the jail? And maybe something about, I don't know what you have as far as since this is a new facility, but the generators and the flooding and stuff. I've been hearing a lot of people asking about the jail, and it would be nice to just hear what you have to say about it.
Very good. So Christian, you want to respond to that? Come on up to
Sure. Good question. Yeah, like I said, the show does go on. You know, we have so many people in town, we have to take care of those guys, but I understand the residents make up the backbone of the hospitality industry, so we have to make sure that they can get to and from work safely. I'm going to have to check to see what our members are doing to help those who are burdened by being able to get to work. I don't have the exact details on what they're doing to help those people right now, or what the numbers are of those people, but I can get back to you on that.
That'd be great. Thank you.
And also just keep us, abreast of that. If there are ways that any of our partners can assist with that, we want to know, and we want to be, helpful as well. Because, hey, our workers, they're our people too. They're residents of this city too. Absolutely. No difference from police, fire, EMS, as it relates to our workers. Sheriff.
Thank you. As part of our hurricane preparedness plan, we activated the en banc orders that are given by the criminal district court as well as municipal and traffic court. So last night and into this morning, we began compiling our list of offenders that can be released because of the declaration of an emergency. So that's in process right now, and we expect, I think the estimate they gave me was about 50 or 60 that could be released.
Out of how many you have right now?
Today's count was about 1,170.
And 50 or 60 only? That's the number, huh?
That's what they told me.
I'm not doubting,
It could change.
I'm just asking.
It
No, I'm
could change.
skeptical.
Yeah, well, the en banc order is very limited in its scope.
Okay.
It does not say, open it up and let everybody out. So, but our staff is going through that. They're compiling this list, and then we're gonna review it, and then do the releases, because of the emergency. Next, as far as the generators go, our generators are located on the 3rd floor of our facility. We have 2 high-pressure natural gas, 2 diesel. We do not expect or anticipate that we would have any power interruptions because of the generators, and we have other generators that are positioned throughout our facility, so we feel comfortable in that regard.
And are you gonna have to move anybody from the 1st level? I don't know if you've been in this facility during a storm before.
Well, we have, but we anticipate moving everyone that's in the temporary detention center to the Orleans Justice Center. That's the only facility that is simply a 1-story facility. And that way we'll be in position, but look, this facility is built at a higher grade than the previous facilities, and again, it's multi-story.
All right, anyone else?
Thank you. And if you passed yesterday, Sheriff was sitting high and dry over there. I said that parking lot was so high. I mean, well, that's a good location now,
We're working
Sheriff.
together, Mayor.
Okay, working together for vehicles to sit in that parking lot. It was free of water while the streets around it were flooded with water. Made my way through there on in a high, what do we call it? High water vehicle. G. Okay. Next question.
Jessica Williams, the applicant.
This is for Colonel Donnelly. How many Louisiana National Guard personnel are expected to be in the city, and how much equipment is expected to be in the city to help us do this event?
Yeah, I'll have to get you a count on the exact equipment. I do know over the next 24 hours we'll be at least moving 1,000 packs into New Orleans. I know it could be upwards in about 2,000 packs. So I'll have to get with you on the exact numbers. And a lot of that is going to be high water vehicles, anticipating search and rescue needs to make sure we have enough folks in place to be able to respond to all the citizens. Since we're sheltering in place, we're anticipating a large population that could be at need during search and rescue should the water rise to the levels needed to evacuate. So we'll have to probably pick up people from their residents and such. So we do have a lot of boats moving in high water vehicles, as well as we got aviation assets that are stationed in Hammond, as well as having hoist capability. So that's the first order of business in any storm. When a storm hits, we'll be waiting to see the aftermath of who needs help, and we want to be able to make sure we can move in quickly to help all of the residents and the people of New Orleans. Thank you.
Thank you. And these on-the-ground federal assets are just critical, particularly because we know that FEMA activates at age 72, so 72 hours after. So this boots on the grounds during the time and after is just critical. So thank you again. And question?
Mike Pearlstein, WWL.
Thank you. Question for Mr. Corbin. So, Mr. Corbin, you mentioned assessing and making adjustments based on yesterday's flooding and drainage. So I'm wondering what you found, what adjustments you're making, and are there any additional assets or strategies given that the likelihood of having a drainage challenge?
The assessments are smaller in scale, so to speak. It was in the area of communication, in terms of staffing, who you put where. Looked at an issue we had with T6, Turbine 6, where we were only able to run it with diesel because we had a small issue precluding us from running it with natural gas, which was our preferred option. we made adjustments, we made some corrections, and now it's running on gas. It's more cost effective, it's cleaner, and that's what, again, is a desired option. So those are the adjustments what I was referring to.
And just looking ahead, is there just anything additional that can be done, any additional assets or strategies that can be used to drain the city even more quickly?
The assets are the assets. I have what I have, and again, when I use the word optimum, I am able to use all the pumps that are available in a given pumping station as I need it, according to how it's designed. So to overpromise that we're gonna outperform what we've done yesterday, it's very difficult for me to do that because, again, limited assets and limited equipment that I have.
Kimberly Kerr, Fox 8.
Yes, this is for Mr. Corbin. Hey, we've gotten a report that Franklin Avenue is still flooded from yesterday. The concern there is that perhaps a pump wasn't working and that a temporary pump was brought in and is also not working. Can you respond to that?
Yeah, that's very accurate. That is on us, and the closure is appropriate for the time being because we believe that there's a design flaw that we're assessing as we speak. It's not operating as it should. We did bring another pump, and it's helping, but not to the level that would allow us to open the street. And with the forecast that we're anticipating, we think that it's going to continue. So the closure is appropriate. That we assign an engineer to look at the design and make some adjustments so it does not continue to present a challenge. So the solution will have to be where it has to dry as fast as we dry the rest of the city.
But will that pump still be offline?
It's not really offline, it's just the way it's working. It's tied to the level of the adjacent canal, and it has limitations, and that's what we're trying to overcome by creating a better solution for it. So there's no short-term solution for it. That's why the closure is what the result.
So what would the message be to residents in that area?
Again, avoid it at all costs. Never go into standing water. Underpasses are the most dangerous areas to drive through, so avoid that at all costs, and knowing that proactively that area is to be avoided at all costs until we obviously have a long-term solution for it.
WWNO?
Knowing what we know about the capacity of the pumping system and the predicted amount of rainfall and what the pumps can keep up with and what we are expecting, number one, what are we looking at in terms of capacity and how we might be able to keep up with that? And you had said that you expect to see a repeat of what happened yesterday. So are you telling people who had feet of water in their streets that they should expect the same thing this weekend?
I'm saying that if we have 8 inches of water in 3 hours, you will experience what you experienced yesterday. I mean, we were running all our pumps that we could run at any given moment, and I can only pump so much water at any given time. So if you have that same intensity occurring again, which is likely to happen, I want people to be prepared that there will be standing water in flooded streets.
So likely in all of the same places that we saw yesterday,
That
and
is
then perhaps more?
Very difficult to determine because it's all function of where the rainfall happens and the intensity of that rainfall.
Which
So
can fluctuate.
could change from one storm to another, from 1.5 hour to the next. I mean, just much like, Uptown experienced something that never experienced before, and that's due to the amount of rain that fell on that area.
WDSU? WGNO? Jambalaya News?
So I have a question because ICE has announced that they will begin their immigration raids this Sunday. And we've received information that they would suspend it here in New Orleans. I just want to confirm that, and if you have any message for the immigrant population that's in the city that might be afraid to evacuate or to find safer places if they feel like their home is not secure enough for the storm.
I think safety first, and individuals have to make that call for themselves. Safety first. And a part of that safety, which is a priority for the city of New Orleans, is supporting the fact that ICE will not have a presence in the city of New Orleans. That is something that we have pushed for. That's something that we will continue to stand by, meaning our residents in the city of New Orleans. And we are here for them, and we want them to be protected. We want them to be safe. And yes, I was informed this morning officially that the city of New Orleans, our residents, should not be affected by ice at all. And that's something that we have consistently advocated for and will stand by.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Telemundo.
Yeah, I wanted to ask if there's any update on what the city is doing to reach out and help the unsheltered homeless population.
Well, we have, as you know, and Dr. Begno can speak to this, we have community health workers on the ground who have been dispatched as of yesterday and even prior to, but yesterday absolutely on that ground making assessments right now. We do not have a shelter of last resort. However, we do have Rosenwald activated, but this is again, residents who contact the city of New Orleans through 311, our special needs registry. We have our shelters that are activated already throughout the city, and we do believe that we'll be able to meet the need based on the contacts that we have made thus far. It will be ongoing, and as we move through the storm, just continuing to assess just the existing conditions, and particularly people street homeless, but also those who may become homeless should they need to leave their residence due to flooding.
And so, I mean, it's been reported before that there are more homeless people in Orleans Parish than there are shelter beds. Is the city confident that at this point there are enough beds to situate every homeless person in the city with the expansions that you were talking about?
Well, we feel confident about that. What we also have found is that our homeless population, our people are smart. They heed warnings as well. They get out of the way. And so as we're just continuing to communicate with them, but we have seen a shift in the population on the ground just based on people kind of making decisions for themselves. Dr. Begno?
And just to add to that, we've been in contact with all of the homeless shelters since yesterday. And as they do with any disaster, whether it's a storm or a freeze night, they have the capacity to take in extra people. And so they have committed to doing that. So right now we have our teams and folks and working with Unity and other outreach on the street, getting that message out. So beginning tomorrow, unsheltered homeless will be able to go to one of the shelters and have a temporary bed through the duration of the storm.
Thank you for that question, Madam Chair.
All right, thank you all for coming.
That's it.
I have one
Come on,
follow-up question.
Burlstein,
Thank
come
you.
on.
I appreciate that. This is perhaps for the Army Corps of Engineers, maybe Mr. Corbin as well. But given the amount of water on some of the uptown streets, I'm just wondering if those Sela culverts on those major corridors, Napoleon, Jefferson, Nashville, could be assessed. This is sort of the first major test of those large culverts. A lot of people who live on those streets were wondering if there's an assessment of whether those were working, not working. What's the picture on that?
Well, on the front end, I'm gonna turn it over to Colonel, and I'll let Director speak to this, but you're speaking my language, actually, as it relates to thorough assessments that will need to happen. And I'll see it as being even post-storm. Basically, the number of Sela projects that we've had in the city of New Orleans, even looking at Claiborne, okay? Claiborne Avenue had a lot of investment there. When you look at Jefferson, Napoleon, when you look at even Louisiana Avenue, I just believe that I know that I will be calling for a thorough assessment of the projects holistically so that we can ensure that they're doing what they're supposed to do. Based on the flooding that occurred on yesterday, you know, people are saying, oh, it's more, right, than even we experienced even pre-Katrina, but at the same time, the rate of fall was significant as well. So we have to continue to assess, continue to monitor, but absolutely not just rest on the fact that we've gotten the, you know, and the investment and the improvement. We need to monitor to make sure it's working effectively, but I'm particularly kind of concerned about Claiborne Avenue. I really am. Colonel, well,
I think you were spot on, Mayor, but we just had that same exact conversation this morning about evaluating and running a model with and without to seek to quantify the benefit of the Sela project. So you're right on.
Yeah, I want a little camera in there. I mean, I really do, because there's some, you know, we need to assess. Just let me leave it at that. Colonel, you had anything else to add?
No, ma'am.
Well, the Corps is, where's the Corps? Okay, I don't know.
Nothing else to add. We agree. We're always assessing our projects, we never lie on the status quo. We are always assessing and monitoring and working with our partners.
Good, I'm gonna make that request even more soon. Okay, so that completes our press conference. Is everyone, you have what you need at this time? We will have briefings tomorrow, 10 a.m. That's just normal briefings that I have, that they brief me. I have made sure that the council are welcome to participate in those briefings. We will have, again, another press conference following that, but there are consistent briefings that happen after this particular press conference. I just want you to know. Also, it's important to know that I have been in direct communication with our parish presidents, our surrounding, our coastal communities, and we had a call yesterday. We will have one this afternoon. It's just important for us to be on the same page and know that the city of New Orleans stands ready to assist where we can as well. So with that, thank you all so much, and see you soon.
Back tomorrow at 11, guys. Thank you, Tim.